inflation resistance. This one is really nuanced, and most people really care about this, especially if you're coming from South American countries that have experienced huge hyperinflation. You really care about the monetary supply. And I'll talk specifically about Bitcoin because it has a very known monetary supply. It's got 21 million coins. There will never be more than 21 million coins. So, damn it, Paul, why do I care about holding my own keys? Because all I care about is that I know how much Bitcoin I've got, and I know how much will ever exist. In order to understand why holding our keys matters for inflation resistance, we're going to take a little journey back in time to the era of gold. And I know there's people out in the audience, and I'm staring at a red shirt here, who knows about gold. Who here has any gold? You just doxed yourself. Thank you. Better question is, how many of you pay to have your gold stored somewhere? It costs money to have someone else store your gold. How many of you, and it's okay, you can admit it, how many of you have any amount of crypto with a custodian? Even if it's a small amount. It's okay, I forgive you. I'm blessed. How much of you pay to have it stored? Nothing. Right? Doesn't cost anything to pay for it. Those services are taking advantage of your money. And they know they can make money on it. That's going to lend into my next topic as well. But in the era of gold, people put gold into a custodial service because that custodial service issued paper for it. That was the first thing that we did with gold because it optimized the payment method of gold. If you think about gold, it was really a pain in the ass to move. The only built-in payment method for any physical asset was the air between the two of us. Right? I physically moved it by hand between me and you. And that wasn't efficient. So we optimized by creating paper. Now we could even write the number, a check, and transfer that amount of value without having to lug heavy gold. And people started to put a little bit of gold into these banks, but hold some of it themselves. That's what people say about Bitcoin. Oh, just put a little bit into these services, but hold a lot of it. But more and more people got dependent. They got dependent on the payment method. The payment method ended up being more valuable than the store of value. Because a lot of people spend a lot of the money they earn. And as the payment method became more and more useful and valuable, people started to put more and more gold. And at some point, you've put all the power of that asset into the custodian. And then it got unpegged. That fixed amount of precious metal that equated to a piece of paper no longer had that equation. And there became the first kind of historical event of inflation. We inflated the gold supply in a virtual way. And to that degree, when you hold Bitcoin inside of a custodial service, do you actually know how much Bitcoin they hold versus how much is owed to people? It's really, really hard to audit that. It's easy to audit how much Bitcoin they hold. It's really hard to audit how much they should hold. They might say, look, here's our public addresses. You can see how much Bitcoin we have. But if you've got 1 million people with accounts, I don't know how much Bitcoin they're supposed to have for you. I know how much they're supposed to have for me. And for all we know, we've already inflated the 21 million, minus what Satoshi lost. So inflation resistance, if you really want to know that there's 21 million coins and what you have is a piece of that 21 million, you've really got to hold your own keys. Everyone else is kind of hoping, trusting, and praying that that's actually the supply in the network.